How are you today? Good. What are you going to do on a rainy day?
Stay in the house and play video games.
Stay in the house and play video games? That's a good thing to do. There'll probably be some food served at some point during the day. Are you guys practicing your music for next Sunday? Next Sunday's Children's Sunday. We're unveiling the new orchestra. In fact, 4 of the primary musicians are sitting right here. And then the rest are singers, right? I understand you're singing a solo. Somebody told me you're singing My Redeemer Liveth from Handel's Messiah. You know that one? How about Largo? No? You know any Stravinsky? No. What are you singing next week? You're singing, remember, what's the name of the song? It was Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, but now it has new words. It was what? It was remixed. For those of you as old as me, this is a word we have to learn. It's a remix of, and what is the name of the song? What's the first verse? Anyway, it's a song about Jesus now. But anyway, we're really looking forward to it. Okay, here's an unusual story. You ready for an unusual story? An unusual story was reported some time ago by a staff writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette newspaper. It was one of those incidents not unlike a Lassie episode when Timmy would twist his ankle in the woods and the famous collie would run to town, bark for help, and lead rescuers to her master. You know Lassie? No. You have to be as old as some of these people, although I know it's impossible for you even to remember. Lassie? What are you making faces for, Nancy, like you were not old enough? You loved Lassie?
We're sad that they don't know. Right.
Oh, you guys got to make yourself clear because I'm not getting it. Lassie was a show about this wonderful collie dog. And the little boy she lived with was Timmy. Not me, it's some other Timmy. What? A collie. You know what a collie looks like?
Yeah, 2 little dogs that have a long, mouth. Yeah.
Beautiful long hair. They're about this big. They have ears, yeah. Pointy ears, yeah. Holy mackerel! I'm gonna have to get some newer material here because this old stuff you guys don't get. Anyway, you see animal shows nowadays. Some of you maybe do you watch the Animal Planet? Yeah. Okay, so there's some great shows about animals. That's really what Lassie was. But this story is about a woman named Joanna Altsman, and she didn't twist her ankle, she had a heart attack. And it didn't happen in the woods, it happened in her house in the bedroom. And the pet that ran, or waddled in this case, was not a dog, but a 150-pound pot-bellied pig. She kept a pig in the house as her pet. 150-pound pig. It's almost as big as some of your mothers. When you think about it, sorry, that slipped out. That's a makeup for the shots you've been giving me lately. Okay. When you think about it, should we go downstairs and do this by ourselves? See, that's when the saying comes, open mouth, insert foot. Okay. When you think about it, the feat performed by Lulu, that was the pig's name, is more amazing because she cannot bark. Since she is so smart, she did the next best thing. She laid down in front of a car and led the disbelieving motorists to Mrs. Altman. Her doctor said that if she had been forced to wait for only 15 minutes more before help arrived, that she would have died. Interestingly enough, Altsman had a dog on hand, an American Eskimo dog who did nothing after she collapsed. They sold the dog. No, they didn't do that. Mrs. Altman said this, Lulu came in and looked at me and made sounds like she was crying. Pigs cry big fat tears. But the pig pulled herself together and headed for help, leaving the yard, something she had never done. Witnesses say that she stood by the road until she saw a car approaching and then walked out into the road and laid down in front of it. When the car stopped, she led the man to the house and the rescue. How did Altman thank Lulu? What do you think he... Gave her a treat. What was the treat?
Pudding.
Money, did you say? Oh. She gave her a jelly donut. Is that a funny story?
Yeah.
First of all, keeping a...
Usual.
It's an unusual story. I forgot. I told you that at the beginning, didn't I?
First of all, keeping a pig for a pet is kind of funny.
Keeping a pig for a pet is funny.
What if you have a heart attack?
What'd you say? Feeling a jelly donuts is, I mean, for the rest of us, that would be great. But for a pig, of course, pigs eat anything, you know. They're always hungry and eat anything. Anyway, why did I tell you this story? I'm asking you why. No. I tell you this story because lots of times we think things are impossible. Or we think we're never going to hear anything that's really surprising anymore. And most of the surprising stuff we hear in the news nowadays, for instance, is not good news. It's kind of bad news. But so many things are possible in this world that we have never heard of before. Now, if you said to somebody, I'm going to have a pet pig because I hear that they're very smart and they can rescue me if I have a heart attack. And what would the average person say? You have to go to the home now. You're done. You know? It happens. So there's always something to be learned in the world, something that's very new, something that's very unusual, something like, in this case, a very unusual pig that was a pet. And did the pig love Mrs. Altman? Of course she did. You know? You can't imagine a very large pig like that roaming around your house, but if you had one, the pig would learn to love you because it lives in community with you and your family. So there's always exciting things to learn. Sometimes you're going to hear, oh, that'll never happen, or that's not even possible.
Too many jelly donuts.
What if you give the pig too many jelly donuts? I don't think you can give a pig too many jelly donuts. Do we have any pig farmers out there? No. I don't know, Lucas, what would happen. But anyway, the idea that there are always possibilities, that there are always amazing things that can happen, you need to take into your own life too, because that also means that you can do some amazing things. You can do some exceptional things. And you can also do some things that maybe you don't think you can do, or maybe that other people don't think you can do. And you have to say to yourself, I wonder if I could actually do this. A friend of mine told me a story about one time in school, the teacher told her little boy that he was really kind of stupid. Can you imagine a teacher doing that? Well, this teacher maybe was having a bad day or something, I don't know. But she told her little boy, you know, you're really kind of stupid. Is this little boy going to think that he can do exceptional things? Be hard to think that if you get convinced that you're stupid. There's always somebody in the world, and they don't always do it because they're mean, it's because they really believe it. There's always somebody in the world who say, that's not going to work, or you can't make that happen. And the most important thing for you to think is that in God's universe, there are so many things possible that we haven't even thought of yet that could still happen. And you may be the person that thinks of them. You may be the person who has a marvelous idea somewhere along the line, and it turns out to be an idea that saves people's lives, or heals people of illness, or you write some great music that people love, or you do something in business that turns out to be very beneficial. And those are things that you could possibly do. You could probably become a great teacher too, or a great nurse, or a great doctor, or whatever. But the greatness is not because you do something that gets in the newspaper. It's because you believe in yourself. Okay? Are you going to go to your classes now?